Halo Reach is in a playable state on PC according to the latest update on Halo Waypoint. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me here today for another Halo Reach MCC PC update video. The following information comes from 343 over at Halo Waypoint. There's a lot of information, so let's go ahead and get through it. The following article reads as follows. The 343 publishing team has been working day in and day out on making good on the promise of continuously improving MCC since last year. In parallel, the team has been hard at work on the ambitious plans to eventually bring all this content to PC players. There's already been a lot of great progress made, particularly with Halo Reach, which is up and running and looking fantastic on both Xbox One and PC. For those of you who haven't heard of the publishing team at 343 before, let us be clear. These aren't the people working on Halo Infinite. They are a much smaller team focused on working with external developers to bring other Halo experiences and projects to life. They are the team that has provided the plethora of updates to MCC and Halo Wars 2 over the past year plus. However, they are still human and can only do so much within the laws of time and space. With the team now fully focused on the ambitious challenge of bringing Halo Reach to MCC, to the collection, and the whole collection to PC, ongoing updates for Halo Wars 2 and MCC's base content will need to be reduced both in frequency and in scope. It will be a journey, and we are asking the Halo community to come along with us. It has been a journey through development, through public fighting, and finally, ongoing iteration and improvement even after it's been released. The publishing team will continue to support Halo Wars 2 and all of the games under the MCC umbrella, but it's time to pull back on those to make sure that we have the best launch experience for Halo Reach and MCC on PC. So essentially, the frequency that Halo, the MCC collection, and Halo Wars 2 have been being updated with little live service-like events is going to be reduced just so that they can focus on getting Halo Reach on the MCC and getting the MCC onto the PC platform, which I'm perfectly fine with. I would have had them pull back from the little events they've been doing sooner, in my honest opinion. The article continues. Speaking of PC, we have been working very closely with our partner studio, Splash Damage, who is knee-deep in the code for the MCC. Their mission is to bring MCC to life as a true PC-native experience by adding the features, bells, and whistles PC gamers expect. Our philosophy is that a straight-from-port console to PC just doesn't cut it. MCC needs to be authentic to Halo and the PC platform. The team has greater ambitions than we know PC gamers demand and expect more than that. Some out there may think that it's just a copy and paste job to get things to work, but making games at the quality that players expect is most definitely not that simple. A project can have hundreds or even thousands of people working towards one central goal, creating fun. It's a beautiful and unique process that each studio handles with finesse and flair that helps create a unique brand of magic. Joining us today to talk a little bit about this is George Wright, a senior producer from Splash Damage, who will offer an update on what the team has been working on. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a peek at what it's like to bring the vision of the MCC on the PC to life. Overall, how is development going? George Wright, development is going well, with Halo Reach already in a playable state. However, we have a very high bar for the game, and it needs to have a lot more work done before it's ready to ship. As you've dug into the Master Chief Collection's code base, has anything caught you by surprise? Looking at the game code, one of the surprising things to discover is how much of the original code from the classic Halo titles endures throughout the years. There have obviously been tons of improvements with each title, but as you can see, the DNA hold true throughout. It's quite a testament to the original designs, and they're still keeping us hooked 20 years later. It's also super interesting reading the comments in the code. It really tells the story of the Halo development over the years, and there are a lot of funny moments to be had. He continues asking, what is the most challenging aspect of bringing MCC to PC? A lot of the challenges revolve around the sheer scale and age of MCC. To start, Even though the games are older, there's still a lot there. 8 game releases and over 7 terabytes of data. There are multiple game engines, even non-Halo specific engines with their own differing programming styles and contributions that have been made by various dev teams over the years. This means that there is a lot of complex content to analyze before we can get properly started. Each game has also developed for a very specific set of hardware and software requirements, and we need to harmonize the games so that they're performant on contemporary PC setups and then start adding features that players have come to know on PC. A lot of the tools used to build each title no longer exist, so we need to reconstruct and repair these systems to make them functionally correct. The games were built using older development techniques, so it's been an interesting challenge for a lot of us to use modern AAA development and go back to the old ways. A bit like the difference between building a skyscraper and restoring the Sistine Chapel. What is your key priority/focus? Big focus for us right now is getting the input systems feeling right on PC. There are a lot of components to good FPS control on PC, including fully remappable controls, minimal input latency, broad device support, and more. We're also focused on adding some of the advanced input functionality, and they are currently testing out the ability to create custom mouse acceleration curves. This will allow very detailed tuning possibilities for mouse movement that many should be excited about. Can you share a few details of your recent accomplishments/milestones? We're working on a major overhaul to the MCC user interface. We've completed the visual designs for the new menu system, but the rollout of the new UI will be gradual. It's an incredibly labor-intensive task to replace the old systems that have worked alongside the new tech, but it will be worth it. The new UI will bring a lot of benefits to players. Aside from the fresh lick of paint, the interface has to be improved so that it works well with both mouse and gamepad. We're also looking at reconstructing the menus so that it supports the new features we're adding to the MCC. So it sounds like they're redesigning way more of the original MCC than I even had imagined. What is next in terms of big deliverable milestones? Looking ahead to our future milestones, one of the new features we're delivering is a progression system for MCC. Initially, it'll be straightforward with a familiar system that allows players to track Halo gameplay experiences and unlock rewards. Our plans for progression are much wider, and we have a few things up our sleeves that we hope will really engage the whole Halo community. So this is something that is interesting. Going through and looking at what you can unlock in the MCC, which are pretty much just kind of nameplates and gamer pictures at this point. And a lot of times it's by completing specific tasks or doing something in multiplayer or beating a part in the campaign this way or beating it on a certain difficulty. But in Halo Reach, you also had a progression system that gave you credits that you could earn to then unlock the armor parts that you would want to use to customize your Spartan with. So I'm wondering if they're messing with that as well, so that maybe when you play not just Halo Reach but other parts of Halo, it'll still count towards unlocking stuff in Halo Reach. That would be something that would be really nice. That way you're not specifically focused in on just playing Halo Reach. The article continues, Halo PC Pillars. When building games, there are different frameworks people use to communicate the vision for that game and our community. One way to communicate the vision, though, is through a series of pillars that clearly articulate priorities of the game along with attributes that support each pillar. When we began planning the PC version of MCC, we set out to define our pillars. The 3 defining principles we are focusing: PC native, legacy, and engaging and evolving. PC native pillar. Being PC native means that we deliver a best-in-class PC shooter as measured by PC gamers that are required the following specifications. Controls. Robust action mapping options. Great mouse and keyboard input across the entire game. Low input latency by leveraging raw input and latency validation via slow motion cameras. Support for a broad set of mouse and gameplay options. PC native UI. Updated UI controls familiar to PC players. Robust video and game options that allow users to tailor the experience to their hardware. Support for FOV sliders, which are field of view, to the extent that each game can realistically support. Text chat. runs on a variety of hardware and takes advantage of what there is, both UI and gameplay. Range of resolution and aspect ratio for monitors, 4K plus resolution, native aspect ratio from 4:3 to up to 21:9 ultra wide, G-Sync, FreeSync support, high refresh rate support, mice both high or low DPI, multiple styles of keyboards, video cards both dedicated and integrated, X input support controllers, loading optimizations, high quality window handling, borderless full screen, flexible window resizing, gracefully handles keyboard shortcuts such as Alt-Tab and Alt-Enter, etc. Using a combination of competitive analysis, internal team playtesting, pro team testing, usability testing, and flighting are all iterating on great controls and building a PC native experience. So they had a ton of people working on this. I always get nervous. When 343 mentions their pro team. And the reason being, and I've articulated this in live streams and in previous videos that I've done on Halo, I don't like Halo 5, and they constantly referenced that the pro team was intricate in making changes and in their version polishing what Halo 5's multiplayer turned into. And again, like I said, I don't really care for Halo 5, so the fact that they used the pro team to do that and they continue to reference the pro team in the MCC stuff, I'm just a little bit worried. Our goal is that we can deliver on gameplay experiences that make Halo unique while meeting the expectations of modern PC shooter players in terms of usability and game feel. For control and option settings, we are experimenting with a variety of mouse and keyboard values. We have built a custom settings app while we update the option settings menu in the UI. Here's a peek at the work in progress control setup app. As we make a greater progress on the PC native UI, we will build these settings into the game. Here is a updated sneak peek at the updated settings menu in the UI, and it is a work in progress. There are two additional pillars that are closely related and impact the way we think about being PC native: legacy and engaging and evolving. Legacy pillar. Being true to legacy means that we do not change the core gameplay of Halo unless we are fixing bugs or making small, modern, quality of life changes that can be a benefit to both mouse and keyboard players as well as control players. One such example is the discussion around how to handle movement and crouch interactions. We have heard feedback from internal playtests for a modern shooter that there is an expectation of better support when transitioning between standing/moving and crouch. This issue demonstrates the tension between our legacy and PC native pillars and is only one of many issues that is likely to put pillars in conflict with each other. As we discover more of these issues, we will make decisions based on a combination of data, community feedback, and prioritization design goals to deliver the best experience across input methods, play styles, and player experiences. Once we begin flighting the game to a larger audience, we will continue listening for thoughts on this issue and see if there are any additional reasons to move forward or to discard this idea to see if it fits with our legacy pillar. We also need to be mindful of the fact that we have players who prefer mouse and keyboard for Halo and other players who prefer controllers. We want both of these players to be able to play together in the same match for them and to feel as if they're on a relatively equal footing. There will naturally be some differences in feel and expectations for different input methods, such as strength of aim, magnetism. Whenever we have a Halo-tested PC title with any audience using a mouse and keyboard, the expectation is that aim magnetism is disabled. On controller, the opposite is true, and some degree of aim magnetism is needed for controller players to compete effectively and for Halo to play the way that it does on console. We want to minimize differences in gameplay between input methods, which supports our engagement pillar. Now, this is something that I have been worried about. If I get a PC that runs Halo Reach at its max settings, I'm not a mouse and keyboard player. My hands just won't allow for it. So I've always been a console gamer. You always used a controller. Anytime I've ever even played a game on a PC, I've plugged my 360 controller into my PC, or I've plugged my Xbox One controller into a PC. It's nice to see that they're looking at what they can do to make it a seamless experience so that the mouse and keyboard, which I do acknowledge is a more accurate way to play first-person shooters on PC, it's just not my preferred way to play on PC. Now, if they can do that on PC and then enable a cross-play function for the consoles and have it all kind of flowing together, that would be ideal. But from the sounds of it, it doesn't look like they are going to be releasing any of the public flighting for April. I'm hoping maybe at the end of May or early June would be nice. But I am still super excited for what I've read here today. How do you guys feel about this update? It most certainly was a big one and might be my biggest Halo video update to date. Go ahead and leave your comments in the section down below. Don't forget, in order to be part of the conversation and to have your voice heard, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you do not miss an upload. But until next time, everyone, thank you all for joining me here today, and I will see all of you in the next video.